Ruth Kamande stabbed her boyfriend Farid Mohammed 25 times, leading to his death in 2015. She argued that she acted in self-defense, adding that there was proof that there was struggle between them as she too had injuries. It was September 24th, 2015, 3 days after she was found bathed in blood, knife still in hand, and her boyfriend Farid Mohammed lying lifeless in bed, stabbed 25 times. He had stab wounds on chest, hands, the legs, the head, abdomen, back, and shoulders. The witnesses could later tell the court that they have had a commotion followed by Farid's piercing scream, a grunted call for help, and a muffled prayer as he breathed his last. After I broke the window, the guy Farid screamed again, saying, "She has stabbed me again." Then he started praying, said Humphrey Fenasi, a neighbor in Nairobi's Buruburu estate where the incident occurred. He was one of the people who responded before the police came. Kamande was still locked inside the room when the police arrived. When she cracked the door open, bloody walls, scattered beddings, strewn utensils, and a cell phone smashed into pieces told the tragic story of a love story gone sour. A story that threw Farid's family into mourning and catapulted Kamande from the obscurity of a girl brought up in Dandora to a famous girl, albeit for wrong reasons. Before the crime, the woman's friends knew her as Biggie, the 21-year-old girl struggling to make ends meet. She was a hairdresser and made a short top as a sales agent in one of the telecommunications company, where she constantly begged friends for suits to wear at work. She was obsessed with looks, and from her humble background, it was difficult for her to buy the money and the things she desired, says her former colleague. Her other obsession was Farid. Sarah Waithera, Farid's sister, says the first time they met, Kamande had showed up at her workplace to introduce herself as the deceased girlfriend and was surprised because she was alone, telling her about the relationship which her brother had not told her about. A few months after the unconventional introduction, Kamande called her. She needed a girl-to-girl conversation about Farid. She had realized the love she had for him was unrequited and wanted to do something about it. She told me she was going to Lebanon and had even booked a flight and was going to work as a house girl to forget about Farid, she says. Waithera convinced her to stay, citing the many cases of abuse she had heard from the Gulf countries. Kamande heeded with a promise to try and forget about Farid and focus on getting a better job in Kenya. In between, he dated other men, but often asked about Farid. It was an obsession, a bad obsession, Waithera said. There are claims Kamande was infuriated by Farid's plan to marry another woman. She reportedly went to his house and started ransacking evidence. She got a stack of letters that Farid's old flame, a girl he knew in high school, had written. She told him to break up with her. The girl had moved to USA and they were just friends who connected on Facebook. But Kamande was suspicious, says Waithera. Phone records reveal that Farid made calls minutes before he was murdered. That death changed everything for our family. He was planning so many things and things were finally looking good, said Waithera. Their upbringing was rough. She recalls a childhood of domestic violence, and after their mother died, things became more difficult. Through it all, Farid excelled. He got admitted at Lenana High School. Before he joined University of Nairobi to study computer science, he was employed as a data analyst immediately after graduation and quickly rose through ranks. At the time of his death, he was a supervisor. His name faded soon after his brutal death, only getting occasional mentions when Kamande made news. She was dominating news from that day. She walked timidly to the docks when she struck again. This time, she was wearing a crown, carrying a bouquet of flowers, and posing seductively for the cameras. She had just won the Miss Langata prison pageant, and her photos were trending on social media. The comments that trickled after the first photo was posted land on objectifying her looks, her crime somehow forgotten, until Justice Jessie Lissit found her guilty of murder. The courtroom play was intriguing. Kamande confessed stabbing Farid, but insisted she was in self-defense. She claimed she had just discovered Farid was HIV positive after stumbling on his hospital card. Farid told me he would rather kill me and himself than have his status exposed. I stabbed him several times using a kitchen knife which fell on my chest from his hands, and after I overpowered him after putting my thumbs in his eyes to try save my life, she said. She also claimed that the previous night Farid raped her. Delivering the ruling, Justice Jessie Lissit said that the number of stabs on the deceased did not support her claims of self-defense. Doctors also ruled out the possibility of rape. Waithera, who attended all the court sessions, says the extensive coverage on Kamande's beauty and charm overshadowed Farid and caused them pain. In retrospect, she appreciates the huge coverage the case got. A huge relief to Farid's family as the judges rejected her plea of a lenient sentence. Her lawyers, former Attorney General Githu Muigai and Mrs. Ukonji, put up a spirited argument saying the state did not prove murder. According to the two, there were no post-mortem examinations to ascertain that the victim died of inflicted injuries. According to Muigai, the High Court erred by relying on the evidence of Farid's former landlord and his wife, who gave conflicting accounts on what happened. He argued that it had not been proven that she took a knife from the kitchen, nor was it shown that she was the first to attack. The stab wounds were random and not around one location in a calculated attempt to kill the deceased, Githu argued. The Director of Public Prosecution, Nurdin Haji, opposed the appeal through Senior Assistant DPP Hassan Abdi, who argued that Kamande was obsessed with the deceased, prone to extreme jealousy and possessiveness of the deceased. According to Abdi, the 25 stab wounds inflicted upon the deceased were a clear indication of intent and malice. Kamande had mentioned earlier during the trial that Farid had admitted to have a love affair with two ladies, namely Scholar and Esther, who he had abandoned before engaging her. The court heard that among the exhibits retrieved at the murder scene was love letters sent to the deceased from one of his girlfriends in the USA, a damaged mobile phone, handset, and a kitchen knife which served as the murder weapon. She was found guilty and convicted for murdering Farid Mohammed. She has since served close to 9 years in prison and is a death row inmate. I have been your host, Lily's Rams. I thank you for watching. See you on the next video.